Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to League Racing TV here for round number 9 of the TTML Formula 3 Championship. We are here at Japan for Suzuka. I am Ivor Bryn Mike, going to be taking you through the action as your lead commentator, and back in the booth alongside me once again, it is Mr. Cadwell. How are you doing, Cadwell?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I am excited. Unfortunately, we both missed the race last time out in Imola, but while I'm getting things sorted with the streamer now, why don't you take us through what happened in that race and from the information you have?
Yep. The funny information I have for you all, let me just very quickly find it. Last week's podium finished as this. So first was Tam, second was Mad Jonas, and third was Yogi last week on the podium, meaning that after the race the standings look as follows. Tam is first on 164 points, Legend is second on 147 points, then it's Mad Jonas 141, Dylan 119, then it's Yogi 115, then it's Dundee, Yarum, Yeli Gleason, Langfeld in 9th, 10th is Parias, G-Mac in 11th, Vettel in 12th, Stevie G in 13th, Appledawn in 14th, Christian in 15th, Charlie in 16th, NXJ in 17th, Brulo, I think I say I always put that name, in 18th, Paudy in the 19th, and Maxi Sim in 20th. And then for your constructors, we have Alpine on top with 283, McLaren on 179, then it's 176 for Mercedes in third, fourth at 174 for Williams, then it's 155 for Red Bull in fifth, then it's sixth is Aston Martin, seventh Alfa Romeo, eighth Haas, ninth Alfa Tauri, and 10th Ferrari.
Very interesting indeed, as we're about to get this first flying lap underway on board with NSR Pariah in the McLaren. So I'm going to take you on board for a lap of the Suzuka International Racing Course, 5.8 kilometers, DRS wide open now as we cross the start finish line to run down in towards turn 1. Very tricky corner as you drift out wide, clipping the curb on the inside there for NSR Pariah to really open himself up for turn 2. Now into the S's, very easy to lose it on these curbs, and you see Pariah doing everything he can to avoid them as he climbs up the hill. We're bound to see a fair few spinners here as we go up through Dunlop curve at the top of the hill, and we come to the end of the first sector split. There's a 32.6 as we go through the two Degnas and underneath the bridge here on the only figure of 8 circuit on the F1 calendar. Now into the hairpin, breaking down hard, second gear, trying to get the car rotated through. Very easy to lose it on traction here on the exit. You see Pariah short shifting up into third as he flies now through the gears on the run up to Spoon. And this is also a very tricky corner. You clip too much in the inside curb, you can go around. You go a little bit too hard, you can run out wide and get an invalidation there as we now foot to the floor as we approach 130R as Raya 8th gear flat out through there, simple as you like, and now into the Casio Triangle, the final few corners here on this circuit. And through the final corner, what is the benchmark going to be for Pariah on those medium compound tyres? It's going to be a 129.4, decent lap from Pariah.
Yeah, a very good lap from Pariah there on the mediums.
Yep, and Dylan immediately beats it by a 10th there. So Dylan coming here to play. Obviously 14 drivers in here tonight, not the kind of numbers we want to be seeing, but it does open up the strategies a little bit. Like, people could risk starting on the mediums instead of going for set the soft tyres, as we have a yellow flag, and I believe that's Mad Jonas who's going slow. Yes, it is, as he gets out of the way of Pariah, but he's going very slow. Does he have a front wing end plate missing? Not visually for us. Let's go on board with someone who is on a flying lap. We have Yogi in the Degners. We have Powdy, but we're going to stay on board with Yogi as he approaches the Casio Triangle. Gets a little bit wayward there through the Casio Triangle, but to the line will come Yogi, and it's going to be a 29.8. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm predicting pull time to be in the low 28s. Maybe we'll see someone get into the 27s, but that would be a monster lap if they can do so.
It would be a monster lap if they could. And I'm just seeing now, and I know it's only the first lap everyone's done, but from the leader to second, and it's a soft compound and a medium compound of tyre, is only 0.069. So it is very close, even from just the first laps on mediums and soft, as Yogi's made a little mistake and he's trying to get back on circuit now, but he is there. As we just see Yahum on a lap starting it now as well.
Yeah, as we got Charlie also, actually he's peeling off into the pits. Yaham, as you mentioned, is on a lap, so we'll go on board with the man in the Aston Martin as he's approaching Spoon Corner now. And as I said, this is a tricky corner, because really to get the most out of the corner you want to be as close to that inside curve as possible, but that inside curve can chew you up and spit you out. And if you mess up Spoon, all the time can be lost right there, which obviously fine margins around a track like this, but you really don't want to be losing out time in the Spoon Corner, because that really hampers you down the back straight and the run into 130R.
He made a tiny mistake at the Spoon curve. Actually made a little wobble, a little oversteer, and that's why he has now decided to come into the pits and finish his lap there. That one, it would have been 130, 131, 132 when he crossed the line, so not challenging for pole, but still would have been nice just to maybe complete the first lap.
Well, we got Mad Jonas, who's purple in the middle sector. He hasn't set a representative time so far, but this looks pretty representative as he comes through the final corner now. What can the man in the Red Bull do? And it's a 28.7, a good lap there from Mad Jonas. Very good lap indeed.
It is very, very good lap, and that just shows you what you were expecting on the soft. You're expecting it to be a quick times on the soft, and I'm right. Agreeing with you on this one. I think it's going to be 28.3, 28.4s in this one today.
I'm currently on board with Sam as he comes to the end of the first sector. It's a 32.1, a very good first sector from Sam. Not really attacking the S's as much as you would want to like. I'm guessing he just wants to get a time on the board right now, then attack a little bit later into the session as he comes through the hairpin. And we've seen many overtaking opportunities happen at that hairpin, not only in league racing but also in real life as well, and I'm predicting that to be a key overtaking spot here in this race as Tam now exits Spoon and flies down now towards 130R. Let's check to see what this middle sector split is saying. It's 11.8, 1 minute 11.8, a very good middle sector from Tam as we approach the Casio Triangle now. Breaking down into third gear, you want to get as much of the curbs as possible, and to the line will come the Alpine, and he puts it on pole with a 28.4. What a lap there from Tam.
Yeah, what a lap, and it was a really good last sector actually. I think he got it most of his time though on the last sector to get him a bit higher than he did, but as you rightly say, the hairpin and into 200, I think it's 200R, I think it's the corner called
130R.
You want to get well, yeah. Anyway, that corner. Anyway, the one after the hairpin. Anyway, I think it's called 230. I'm not too sure.
It's 130.
I don't know if it's called two. I don't know what it is, but anyway, it's basically corner. Anyway, you want to get a good exit out of that corner into the next corner. Anyway, and that's as you rightly say, a great opportunity to overtake at that corners, and great from Tam that is. And just to say as well, Appledorn did do a lap, but it was a 29.9, his first lap.
On board with Legend now, as it looks like everyone apart from Charlie, who's out of the session, looks like he's lost it at the top of Dunlop Curve, and that is a issue around this track, as Legend gets a big load of understeer mid corner. And look, there's Charlie's car off on the left. You hit any of these curves in the first sector, you can go spearing off the track, as Legend unfortunately invalidates his lap. We got Pariah coming to the end of his lap. Oh my god, gets very close to the pit wall there, but he sets a 28.8 NSR Pariah. And right now, I think Tom's pretty safe. I think he can just chill in the pits and wait till the final runs.
Yeah, I think he can as well. I think he's got this pretty much secure at the moment. We'll just see now what Legend can do on this lap, as he now comes up to the end. No, he's down on his time there, but we were going to just check what he was going to do on that lap. But
well, taking a look at the chat, as we're on board with Dylan, who's marginally up in the first sector. Taking a look at the chat, we got Jamie saying Legend is winning today, you can sense it. We got Ivan saying hello in the chat. Hello Ivan, how are you doing? We got Charlie saying another race without his teammate. We got Tam in the chat saying Dundee for the win. We'll have to wait and see. Dundee did set a very impressive lap on the mediums, and he's 4.5 tenths up in the first sector on the soft run. Let's see what his middle sector is saying. It's about half a second up. He could be threatening Tam's time here, as we got Charlotte in the chat saying go Pariah indeed. He's currently up in third place, but I believe he's going to be knocked down into fourth now, because here comes Dundee across the line, and he's on provisional pole with a 28.367. A good lap there from the Williams.
Cracking lap from the Williams there, absolutely a really good lap. And then we just now got G-Mac starting a lap. Legends on a lap as well here. 9 hundredths down on his time here, so not too bad. That's not at the moment. And up on his time on his last lap there was
Yogi.
Yes.
We also got Charlie in the chat saying, honestly, hate this track. I don't know why I bothered attending. I can tell you why you bothered attending, Charlie. There's 14 drivers. This is one of those tracks where you can gain massively, because it's so tricky. The S section is so like, you got to thread the needle through the first sector. Like, that's the beauty of this track. That's what I absolutely love about this track. As anyone that knows me knows, this is my favorite track, just because of how demanding it is and how pinpoint accurate you have to be at this circuit to get the most out of it. And honestly, like, you can spin a few times. There's going to be safety cars to bring you back in, and obviously it can depend on the conditions as well. I mean, it is known, the rain has been known to fall at Suzuka, and it has thrown up some cracking races in the past. Very difficult to overtake, but you got to look at the options. Into the hairpin, into turn 1. You can try in the S's. I mean, I've pulled it off many times. That's one of my favourite overtaking opportunities, in the S's, because no one really goes to it, and it really does scare the living life out of people when you go in side by side for the S's, and that's one of the places I really do love to overtake. As Yogi there unfortunately makes a mistake on his lap, and he's into the pits, as Dylan improved to a 28.9. Mar Jonas is a 10.5 up in the first sector. Let's see what he is in the second sector. He's 2 tenths up. This isn't going to beat Tam's time at the moment, but it's going to get him very close. So we break down into the Casio triangle, and on the throttle, keeping it as close as possible to the inside to minimise the distance, and he got very close. Very close indeed. We're talking 9 thousandths of a second between Tam and Mad Jonas.
Yeah, absolutely cracking lap time there, and it just shows that this track is improving. It is all the time, and Dylan is still on his lap as well. We'll just wait and see. I know he's coming in on this lap, but it just shows you how. And you're rightly so. It's this track can throw up so much. Like, it could be 1 minute it could be really sunny, next minute it could be getting cloudy, and then near the end of the race rain, or be raining for 90% of the race and then sunny for like 2 laps. It's just, that's just the joy of this circuit.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like this circuit because of how demanding it is and how any small error is heavily punished, but I think the challenge of that is why this track is my favourite track out of them all. You know, despite the fact that, you know, on the F1 calendar, it's an iconic circuit as well. So it's just got everything. Like, there's no room for error. You gotta make sure you hit every single line perfect. The S is hugely demanding, hugely challenging. Touch a curb, you are going spinning. You know, you can go around whistling a la Fernando Alonso way back when. What's called just driving on your own, not really caring about what's going on. Keep it calm, keep it collected, keep it cool, and you will be looking at some good points here.
You are right, you definitely will be. It's a great circuit to be racing at, and at the moment out for their warm-up laps, before the out laps are Tam, GMAC and Langfeld and Appledorn. They're the only ones out at the moment, and the rest are now heading out onto the track they are to get their times in. But it is great to see. The only problem with sometimes with qualifying is that if you get a bit of traffic, it's going to affect your lap massively. But in the race, to me, it's not one of my favourite circuits on the game, but I do still like driving around it because it just has every element that you need for an F1 car.
Well, here's my take on it. This track may not be the best for racing on the game, just because it is very difficult to overtake you. It is kind of single file, wait for a mistake, but this is a driver's circuit. Like this circuit to me it's like almost like Monaco in a way, where you gotta drive it, you gotta be accurate, you gotta be on point, and you're gonna do well. As we got a whole heap of cars getting out of the way of Tam there. I think that was 4 cars underneath the bridge moving over for the Alpine to continue on his flying lap as he is approaching Spoon corner right now. And let's see how close he gets to this inside curb here. Oh, he kisses the curb there as he breaks down, keeps it in 5th gear. I usually prefer going into 4th there and then 5th on the exit, but who might argue with Sam as he is flying now to the 2nd sector split. He is half a 10th up. It's not enough to threaten Dundee right now, but he does have a little bit of extra time if he wants to go again. Just got a little bit too much on the curb there. He lost a little bit of time, but to the line will come Tam. But it doesn't matter, he found all the time in the final sector in the Casio Triangle, and he is now on provisional pole with a 28.2. As I believe the next man to cross the line will be G-Mac.
It will be G-Mac, yes.
He's almost 5 tenths up, so this could get him ahead of Pariah here. A little bit of traffic at Dylan up ahead that could put him off slightly as we go through the Casio Triangle. G-Mac now to the line. He does have Mad Jonas about to start a lap in behind, and G-Mac there across the line as he's going to pull over and get out the way of Mad Jonas, but G-Mac up in 4th, and that is Powdy around at the S's, and I believe Yaham also went at the S's as well, showing the demand here on this track. As we got Appledorn, I think he's had major issues on his flying lap, and he's going to be done for the session. Yogi now, he is marginally down on his middle sector. Can Yogi get himself a little bit further up the grid as we go for the Casio Triangle? Clips too much of the inside curb on the entry, just unsettles the car slightly, but is he going to gain time? He does gain time. All the time he has is in the final sector, and he's now also ahead of Pariah. Pariah is over a 10th down in his first sector split. What is his middle sector? He's marginally up as he approaches the Casio Triangle. We do have Akra crossing the line in just a moment, and he improves and goes up into 6th. But can Pariah get himself ahead of the Mercedes? And not only does he do that, he gets himself up ahead of Langfeld as well, up into P5 for Pariah. Tam into the pits. We have Legend coming through the Casio triangle. Looks a little bit shaky. We got Dylan on a flyer right in behind, and he's getting as close to the wall as possible. And Dylan now to the line, goes up into P4. Mad Jonas can't improve. He's had an issue on his lap, and it's unfortunate for Mad Jonas. He was a 10th up in his first sector, but yeah, I think that's it. I think, yep, Tam on pole position with a 28.2. Who called the low 28s as a pole position time? I believe I did.
You did.
I did, yes, I did. I know what good lap times are around here, guys. Don't you worry. But it is...
Sorry,
go on.
I was just going to say, I was a couple of attempts off, actually, so I was a bit less optimistic than you were. In that one, but... Yeah.
All about knowing the track, mate. Knowing the track, knowing the drivers.
Yep. I thought it would be what second and that did, like 28-3, 28-4. So yeah, but as we learned from qualifying there, as we're going to tell you the positions in a second. Great to see it's the last sector that everyone was pretty much improving in, which shows you how powerful that sector can be.
Yeah, exactly. And now we run through the order. It is EVG Tam on pole position with a 28.2, just over a 10th ahead of Dundee in second place. Mad Jonas in third with Dylan on the second row joining him. Then we got GMAC in fifth, Pariah in sixth, seventh is Langfeld, eighth is Akra, ninth is Yogi, and Legend running at the top 10. And I just want to point out, look at how close it is between Dylan and Yogi, and Akra and Yogi setting the exact same time. Then outside the top 10 with three choice of tyres, we got Yaham, Appledon, Powdy and FRL Charlie. So ladies and gentlemen, I mean, we are talking literally, what is that, just under 500 of a second between fourth and ninth.
I believe so, yes.
Incredible.
It is absolutely incredible here, and it's sunny for the race, so it's going to throw no spanners up in the works here. Then we might see something later, maybe, but we don't at the moment. And yeah, incredible. And as you rightly said earlier, it was all coming in the second and last sector, so absolutely brilliant. But as you rightly said, I think the key to the race is the hairpin and into the corner that is at a 200-degree angle that they go into after that. So yeah, very good to see. There will be where the overtakes I think will happen.
Well, I mean, I can tell you all the best overtaking opportunities at this circuit. Obviously, you got the hairpin at turn 11, which of course is the big overtaking opportunity. Turns 1 and turn 2. If you can get a good enough toe going down towards turn 1, you can get alongside and maybe go for a little bit of a switchback mid corner through turn 2 to get a nice run. Obviously, I like overtaking in the S's. Like I can't lie. I'm one of those guys that if I see an opportunity to go for it in the S's, I'm gonna go for it in the S's just because of how special it is to get that overtake. You can also get an overtake down into turn 9, which is the second Deckner corner. It's a very risky one because you do have to kind of go for a lunge there and pray that the car that you're making the attempt on gives you the room, because that corner really does tighten up quite a bit as you're going through the apex and on the exit.
We have just sorry quickly to say on this outlap, Charlie has gone around at the last corner of the S's. He's back on now.
That is unfortunate. There's also, Spoon. The entry into Spoon is not one where you really kind of want to go for an overtake. You really want to kind of set yourself up for a good exit out of Spoon, because that's going to give you the toe, obviously side by side through 130R. Like, you can easily do that. You can go for overtakes with 130R, and then of course the Casio triangle down the inside. Try and get the job done as you're about to start the next lap.
Yeah, it's very lots of overtakes around here, as you say, and it's very good circuit. Gotta say, it's one of the best in the business, and it's had a lot of happened around here, as you know. back in the 90s when Senna and Prost were here and stuff like that. It's absolutely, it just brings back to that and how great a circuit is. But yeah, they're about to line up on the grid, and I was just about to say, actually, I'm surprised that Charlie's gone for the softs, and the others, who are Yarum, Appledorn and Powdy, have all gone for the mediums. Is that a strategy you would have gone for, or?
I would have gone on the softs. I would have followed Charlie there. If I crashed out at the start of quality, I would have gone on the softs, because you get rid of that possibility of an early safety car doing you over as we go to those 5 red lights. Lights are out and we are underway for 27 laps at the Suzuka circuit, and there's a great start by Tam. Mad Jonas had a bit of a bog down. It's almost 3 wide as G-Mac. They're trying to stick his nose in. He did stick his nose in, and he's gone around catch.
He has gone around. Just looking in the background as well, Charlie stayed right back and now gets back up to the back of the field. But wow, that's a crazy first couple of corners, as we rightly say. But just looking now at just very quickly looking at the front of the field, Tam has kind of broken away and got a gap so far of 6 tenths.
I just want to point out, guys, my controller disconnected then when I was talking. For some reason it disconnected, even though I got 3 bars of battery. So I have no idea what's going on there. But as you were saying, a good start there from Tam. Got the launch off the line. Mad Jonas did kind of bog down a bit, and G-Mac, he stuck his nose in, and it didn't need to stick his nose in there, because he just went around and he's dropped all the way to the back. But fair play, he kept it out of the wall and he kept it going, and he's still in the back of his turn as Charlie there goes off onto the grass, and he's going to lose all the speed down towards 130R. Now we could see the first move in 130R as G-Mac is on the inside. As he gonna make it work, he left the outside for the Casio triangle, but it doesn't matter, he's already ahead and up into P13 as everyone now flying through to start lap number 2. We're not going to see any overtakes so far. Everyone's going to have to follow single file for the time being, as Yaham all over the back of Yogi. He is on the medium compound tyres, as actually Appledorn and Powdy there swapping position. So there goes me saying that I don't see an overtake happening. One does happen, we don't catch it.
Yeah, I just was just going on to that as it happens. Appledorn went a bit too wide going into corner 2, and that lets Paradeep through, and now it looks like Charlie has caught up to the back of G-Mac again, and it's looking like he's trying to overtake him.
Yeah, absolutely, as I'm on board with the battle up towards the top end. Looks like Dundee just settled himself into this race. I didn't have the telemetry open, and that is not good, so I do apologise for that, everyone, as we have Dundee doing his best to close up to Tam. We got Dylan, he's just trying to stay on pace with these guys. He's about 8 tenths off. We can't afford to drop out of the DRS range of Dundee and Tam, because then he'll be under pressure from Mad Jonas and Pariah. Accra unfortunately has lost the DRS range to Pariah, so we're seeing splits begin to happen in the grid now.
We are, but there is as we were saying a second ago, Charlie is literally all over the back now of G-Mac and is actually like nearly touching the back of him to try and get past. But yeah, it's surprising after only 2 laps here, when we now go into DRS enabled, that we already see gaps that are over a second between some of the field.
Well, we've got Yaham having a look at Yogi here as we continue on. I just given everyone a nice little visual of hiding the UI so they can see full screen. I will do that from time to time, as Dylan has dropped out of DRS range now of Dundee, and that is not good for him, because he's now going to fall into the clutches of Mad Jonas and Pariah. But Pariah is struggling to stay on the back of these guys up ahead. Accra has a nice little gap to Langfeld, but he's going to need to do a lot more to try and stick with the Mercedes driver, as everyone still in the line. As Legend actually had a little peek, lap 3 of 27. we should be expecting to see pit stops coming through as Yaham gets on the inside curve on the exit of Spoon, and that's going to compromise him. And here comes Legend. I mentioned earlier how crucial it is to get a good exit out of Spoon, and Yaham did not get a good exit, and that's allowed Legend to really have a look. Is he going to have a look down the inside into the Casio triangle? No, he's going to back out of it. Maybe look for a better exit. Yaham gets a little bit out of shape, but on the exit, Yaham does get the better traction, and he does stay up ahead. Meanwhile, Dylan has dropped behind Mad Jonas, so there we go. As I mentioned, Dylan losing that DRS, but Mad Jonas goes a bit too deep. Dylan's going to stick his nose in and maybe have a little peek into the S's, but no, he's going to back off and stick in behind. As Dundee is really now putting on the pressure on Sam, as Dylan is now going to have to try and recompose himself and get back into it against Mad Jonas.
I think Tam just made a tiny little mistake, and that's why he's closed the gap in to be where he is
it's DRS.
at the moment. And a bit of DRS as well, but I think he made a tiny little mistake. I think I saw, but anyway. Charlie, just to say, has moved up to another position now. He's past Appledore now into that P12 position. So very quickly.
Sorry, I was just on board with Yogi getting right underneath the rear wing of Langfeld there. Also close into the hairpin as Powdy and Legend now starting to lose out as he's dropping down the order. Does he have wing damage? Because he does appear to be understeering quite bad. And yes, he does have wing damage. And that is heartbreak for Legend as Appledorn there bouncing around as he goes through into P12. G-Mac needs to be careful, needs to be wise, and he's going to get through as well. Legend does back out. And for Legend, it's not the worst thing for him to come in now, change his front wing, chuck on a set of mediums, because he should be able to get the mediums to the end from here, and he should be okay in clear air on his own, not having to worry about anyone, as Langfeld gets through on the Mercedes of Accra there for P6. A bit of clear air for Legend, fresh mediums against these softs, which are going to drop off eventually, as they naturally do regardless, but we shall see if Legend can get himself back into this. We had Jamie in the chat predicting Legend winning today. I know Legend been trying to beat my time trial timers. Oh, Dundee there, back end snap. Oh, and he back end snaps again, and that's going to put him under pressure now, because here comes Mad Jonas as he sees the small mistake from Dundee, and that's gonna it's going to be eyes as wide as dinner plates right now for Mad Jonas. He sees the pressure beginning to get to Dundee, and this is where he needs to put that pressure on now. Mad Jonas needs to go on the attack.
He does need to go on the attack here. He's closing in as much as he can. Very, very, very quickly to tell you, Parody and Charlie are the biggest gainers with up 3 positions, and it is G-Mac down at 8 and Legend down 4 here. But let's see then what can happen as we pass it. See what happens here then. Let's see what's happening with the Mad Jonas. Is he going to close up into corner 1 here and then try into corner 2 to overtake? We'll have a look and see. But the close tackle battle is this one. Langfeld about to lose the position.
Oh, as Accra there trying around the outside in turn 1 and turn 2, and he's going to make it stick. It looks like he is. And oh, there we go, Yogi down the inside into the S's. I told you, you've got to be very wise about your opportunities in the S's. Yogi, they're doing fantastic, and that's Charlie around in the S's as well. And that is unfortunate for Charlie. He's clipped the curb and he's gone around. But Yogi there, very opportunistic, sees the opportunity, goes for it. And that's what I like to see at this circuit, because opportunities in the S's, few and far between. So when one pops up, you've got to go for it.
You definitely do. It was a great overtake that he did there. And he's pulled a gap a little bit already as well. Yogi has actually 7 tenths. So very nice that Yogi could pull that gap already. But it is, as you rightly said earlier, it's closing back at the front now to be 3 cars within just under 1.5 tenths of each other.
Well, Pariah has managed to get himself back in the DRS range while these guys have made their small errors. And obviously Dylan and Mad Jonas, they traded positions a couple of laps ago. We're still waiting to see if Dundee's going to make that move. He does have quite a ERS advantage. Tam on 14% and Dundee on over 60%. So Dundee right now is looking pretty good right now in terms of his ERS as Yogi gets through on Akra, and up into P6 goes Yogi. And the question is, does Yogi have the pace to pull away now?
I think he does actually have the pace to pull away, and just as we're about to go into the S's there, it looked like Yaham was going to get past Langfeld, but he backed out because he was nearly going to run into the back of Langfeld here. So it's a 4-way scrap now, it looks like, for P number 6 here.
Yep, and look at Yaham. He's not going to try it here, surely not. Backs out wise. Very wise. He had a look into the first Degner curve, and that wouldn't have ended well there for Yaham to go for a move right there. But the mediums now are starting to come into play. They're starting to become the better tyre. And oh my god, Akra's out. And we just seen it there. Akra losing it on traction out of the hairpin. He is out of the race, and that is a full course safety car here on lap number 7. What does Yaham do? What does Powdy do? What does Appledon do? Because they're on the mediums, and this is prime time for the soft tyres to come into the pits.
It's interesting because I know we don't take the game to what they say on the game, but it said it was going to be like, if you want to do one stop, it would be going to the hards. But I think from now, for all the soft runners, as you rightly say, mediums is a great option to go for. It's just unfortunate what happened with the car, I've got to say, coming out of the hairpin and then into that corner where Akra did crash. It was a horrible crash. But as you rightly say, everybody here looks like they're coming in.
And Dylan has absolutely butchered it. He's gone for the white wall tyres, and trust me, Dylan, they are not the one. They are not a very good race tyre whatsoever. So Dylan's going to struggle on those hard tyres, I can assure you of that. He may get to the end comfortably, but they're going to be so much slower. As I was going to say, for the likes of Charlie, if I was Charlie, I'd come into the pits and put on another set of mediums.
See what Charlie does then. He's now coming into the triangle, so we'll see what he does.
Also, I don't know if you clocked it, but Dylan played a very coy little game on the pit entry. He backed off from Mad Jonas to such an extent so he did not lose so much time double stacking with Tam, so he could try and maintain his P4, net P4 on Pariah. Now, a little bit sneaky if you ask me from Dylan, but I mean, he has done it and he has succeeded in it, and he holds that position for now. But those hard tyres are not the one.
No, they're definitely not around here. I would say if you did take hard tyres, you would be doing them earlier than than this. But still, they're not going to be lasting you slash. I don't even think they're going to be good for you really around here at all. But I'm still interested why Yarman, Parody and Appledon did not come in. Now I know they're on the mediums, and I know they can't go on to another set of mediums, but it's very interesting that they didn't pit really, in my eyes.
Yeah, for Yaham, Powdy and Appledon. Oh Jesus, Appledon literally lacking around all over the place. I have to go on board with someone else for just a moment. My eyes do not want to see those kind of things ever again. But yeah, for Powdy, Appledon and Yaham, it is way too early for those guys to pit. But what I would have done, because they were down towards the back anyway, I would have came into the pits, put on a set of the soft tyres, and then come back into the pits again on the following lap and put on a set of mediums. Like, that's what I would have done. That's 10,000 IQ plays right there, guys. Right, that is the Hyperbrid Mike safety car strat to success here at Suzuka. Charlie is in the chat saying, oh, he's just pitted and the safety car comes out. That's what happens, Charlie. I did say safety cars will come out and will play a factor in this race, as we now await for everyone to bunch up to the back. G-Mark on those mediums. He did come into the pits and put on a set of softs, and he came back in and put on a set of mediums, so he listened. Charlie came into the pits and put on a set of the mediums, so he also listened. Legend is now up into P11 after his calamities early on, so this is another bit of fresh air, a bit of a new life here for Legend. Hopefully this time it goes a lot better than the first time around for him. And of course there's NSR teammate Pariah. We saw in the early phases how he kind of dropped away from the top 4, and then the small mistakes from these lot brought him back into it. Dylan on those hard tyres, is he going to be able to keep the pace that he showed in the first stint? I don't think he will. I think he's going to drop off the back of Mad Jonas, and Pariah is going to get the overtake done eventually on Dylan, but he's going to be in a spot where he's all by himself and needs those mistakes to come into play. As the safety car should be in at the end of this lap, and the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, so Yaham will dictate the pace as he will now back everyone up, and we shall wait to see who's going to get the best restart here, who's got their tyres up to temperature, who is going to make the moves into turn 1. As Yaham, is he ready to go? He's out of the final corner now. He's still backing everyone up, and when's he going to go? He's gone now, and he's caught his teammate absolutely napping, who's under pressure now from Appledon. We're on board with Sam right in behind as Langfell and Yogi trade positions as we go into turn 1, as Appledon gets onto the curb on the inside. Bit of contact there with Powdy, and Tam, he's going to have a little look, but he has a bit of a snap on the rear end as he draws in alongside Powdy, but has to stick in behind. Appledon though gets himself up into second place, and fair play, he was able to hold the car as he clipped the inside curve at turn 1 and almost went around. That's allowed Yaham to build a gap. He's now a second clear. Tam all over the back of Powdy. He's going to have a look into the second deck now, not this time around. He's going to have a look into the hairpin surely though, as he gets a good run. Is he going to look for it? He's gone for it down the inside. Powdy leaves him the room, and Tam does get the better exit, and now Tam is up into P3. Now Dundee, he is all over the back of Powdy, almost pushing him there through Spoon, is Dundee, and he needs to get this move done ASAP on Powdy, and he's got a pretty decent exit out of Spoon, and he's not going to be alongside enough to go for a move into 130R, so he's going to have to stick in behind. And this is not what Dundee needs. He's going to have a look down the inside into the Casio triangle. No, backs out, and Powdy goes a bit deep there, expecting a move, cuts across the curb, and now Dundee side by side through Powdy. A bit of contact there, and here comes Mad Jonas. It's going to be 3 wide on the run down into turn 1 as Dundee tucks into the subshoe. Dundee is boxed in here as contact. Mad Jonas is around. Oh my god, Mad Jonas is around there, and massively unfortunate there for the Red Bull, and it's Powdy's lost the car on the curbs in the SS, and now that's freed Dundee to go chasing after Tam, but look at the time he's lost, 1.3 seconds. But the good news is that Tam hasn't got past Appledon yet, so that will close down rapidly and come sooner rather than later.
Unbelievable first couple of laps.
Sorry to cut in as Tam has got through on Appledon. He is now up into P2 as he gets the move done once again on the exit of the hairpin. So that seems to be a good traction spot there for Tam right now, as Dylan is just about holding on to that DRS range. Now he's dropped outside that 1 second. He's teetering on the edge of that 1 second. But like I said, these hard tyres, they're just not good race tyres, and we're seeing the effects of that right now as Pariah is all over the back of Dylan. I believe DRS is going to be activated on this lap as Yaham sets a new fastest lap, and DRS is enabled, so next time around we should see Pariah going for a move on Dylan, unless he can get a good enough grip through turns 1 and 2. He can maybe have a look into the S's. but he sticks behind Dylan for the time being. Dylan's going to be a massive bottleneck for these guys behind. Appledorn is a massive bottleneck right now for Dundee.
He really is. Also, very quickly, just to say, as here he goes then. Appledorn. Yeah, you're right. You're about to say Appledorn nearly there getting clipped or hit by Dundee, but yeah, I was on board with Jonas, and I think it was just they both just clipped each other, and he just spun around and touched a bit too much of the curb as well.
Yep, here we go. Dundee has scared Appledorn into going a bit deep and a bit offline. Oh, wheel spin on the exit there from Dundee. And this is frustrating Dundee. You can see he's getting very frustrated behind the Ferrari of Appledorn. He knows he's got so much more pace, but he just can't get it done when he wants to get it done. But he should now have a good shout at getting past the Ferrari when it comes to DRS down the main straight. Will he get done before then in the Casio triangle? I don't think he will. Meanwhile, Pariah has got through on Dylan. Now, was that a little tactic from Dylan to try and get DRS? I'm not sure, but Dundee all over the back of Appledorn, and now DRS is wide open as he is going to move to the inside of the Ferrari. Job done. Up into P3 goes Dundee as Mad Jonas on an absolute charging behind. Legend getting through on Yogi as well, also for P8. And now, will Pariah have as much of an issue getting through Appledorn as what Dundee did? Meanwhile, Tam's all over the back of Yaham now.
He is. I don't know. I don't know if he is going to have as much to get through. But we can see that Dylan is closing, though. Is still keeping that gap at about 5 tenths. But it has now actually... it's staying at around 5 tenths, so it's not looking like it's going up or down. But Legend, what a move that was actually on Yogi. It was clean through in corner 1. He broke later and was straight through. It was a lovely overtake here as they go now the massive train do, which is from 4th all the way down to 10th position. Here it is into the hairpin, then into the next corner afterwards, which is 200 corner on the circuit. So it's lovely to see. But now into Spoon they do go. But as you rightly say, anyone's game here from 4th down to 10th.
Well, I mean, Pariah should be able to get through quite comfortably on Appledorn with DRS. He's going to have the grip to get the traction out of the Casio triangle. And I think once Pariah gets through, it's going to be very difficult for the likes of Langfeld, because not only does he have a slow medium runner in Appledorn up ahead who's on those warm mediums, he also has the hard runner of Dylan who's going to fight this with everything he's got. And here goes Pariah straight through as Tam gets the race lead from Yaham. So apologies for that. Dylan loses the spot to Langfeld, who clips the inside curve and has gone off. And Dylan straight back through as Charlie and Langfeld side by side as they approach the S's, as Charlie will back out and touch the inside curve there. So very brave from Charlie to touch that curve. That is one of the curves you do not want to touch.
It is, and it's closed even more now for the lead. It was 6 tenths, it's now 3 tenths for the lead. So, yeah. So as you can rightly see, as we know, Tam's got through, but Yaram is closing back in now to get back into that lead.
Well, Yaham is Dundee's best friend here. If he can just keep Tam pressurised and try and get back through on the Aston Martin. On the Alpine, what's called Yaham's going to make it difficult for, as I believe it or no, is that Mad Jonas or is that Yogi that's gone off? One of them had a mistake. I believe it was Yogi who had a bit of a mistake there. But if Yaham can get back through on Tam, that is going to allow Dundee to close back in, and that's what Dundee needs. And when you look at these guys now in behind, so we got Legend on the back of Dylan now. I did mention about the hard tyres being a terrible race tyre. And it is exactly that, as now Legend, he's pretty much pushing Dylan through the final corner. Doesn't get the best of exits.
Here he goes.
But we shall see.
Yaham to the inside.
Yep, Yaham back up into the race lead. I'm on board with this battle for P5. Dylan wasn't able to make a move. Legend wasn't able to make a move, but he's got so much more grip in the first 2 corners that he closes almost up. Almost making contact there with Dylan, as these guys are being kind of bottlenecked to each other. Appledorn on those worn tyres is slowing Dylan, which is slowing the progress of Legend, Charlie and Langfeld. Mad Jonas had a spin early on, which we did pick up on, as Yogi's in the pits for a set of the soft tyre, so they're confirming that he was the one who went for a spin. But Mad Jonas is going to close back up to these guys.
He really is, and as you were about to say, anyone's game here, and you're right, and I believe as well you are correct, Dylan's tyres are literally not as quick as everyone else's. They'll get quicker nearer the end, but it'll be a little too late, I think, by that point when they do get there. But here goes Legend then. What can he do on the back of Dylan?
Well, for Dylan, he needs to get past Appledon. That's first and foremost. So Dylan needs to get past the Ferrari. The Ferrari's got no ERS left to his name, but he's got the issue of Pariah, what's called up ahead, almost like kind of giving Appledon DRS, but this is the first time Appledon does not have the DRS. And here goes Dylan, and here goes Legend, and is Legend going to get 2 for 1 here into turn 1? No, he's not, but Dylan goes deep into towards turn 2, but Legend doesn't go for it, and Charlie's able to sneak through as well. So Charlie up in the P7, sticking with Dylan and Legend here, and now Dylan is going to struggle because Legend and Charlie on those mediums should still be a lot faster.
They should still be a lot faster, but we don't know what's going to happen here. I'll be back literally 1 second.
Okay, and
Charlie's about to die.
As Cadwell jumps off for just 2 seconds, what we are going to do is focus on this battle, the battle for P5 between Dylan and Legend. We got Charlie in the mix as well. Appledon is still holding in there just about, so he's going to be a bit of a bottleneck for Langfeld and Mad Jonas down in 9th and 7th. But this is where it's at. Dylan, he went on those hard tyres. I said the hard tyres are not a good race tyre around here. I stand by that. And now we're going to see the effect of it, because Dylan is being closed in rapidly by Legend. And Legend, is he going to go for a move into the Casio triangle, or is he going to set it up for turn 1? Looks like he's going to set it up for turn 1. Gets the better exit out of the final corner. And Dylan, he knows his fate is sealed. And here goes Legend. But the question is, will Charlie follow through as well? I think he will. Yep, Charlie up into P7 and into P6. Dylan down into 7th place, and now Langfeld can go chasing after him, and Appledon dropping down into 9th, which means now Mad Jonas is the one stuck behind the Ferrari.
I'm very surprised with this one, because I'm just looking at the battle for the lead, and I'm very surprised that Yarum on 16 lap old mediums probably got another like 2 or 3 laps in them, but is still keeping the up with the pace of Tam here. It's not got anything less than 5 temps. It's been between that and 2 temps for the last like 2 or 3 laps here. It has, but yeah, and I think as well as you rightly say, I think Dylan will be just gobbled as well by Appledon and Langfeld on this lap.
Well, I mean, as I said, Yaham can be Dundee's best mate here. And Yaham is being Dundee's best mate, because Sam, he hasn't really had the ERS to really pull away from Yaham, so Yaham's been able to keep with him. I'm guessing Tam has made a few little errors here and there, and it's allowed Dundee to close back in. And if Dundee can get in that DRS of Yaham, and he's not going to, because Yaham's into the pits, but Dundee now is so much closer to Tam than what he should be. What was it, 1.8 seconds now. If Dundee can close that in, it's going to be a very intriguing end to this race, as Charlie looks for the move on Legend around the outside, gets it done into turn 1, as we have a yellow flag, and I believe that, oh my god, that's Dundee. Dundee has lost it, and I believe he's got heavy wing damage. I think, yeah, he's off into the gravel. Dundee has absolutely bottled it.
I really don't know what happened there. I'm really surprised. I was just looking at I was Yarum to go onto the soft, so something we didn't see. Maybe did he go into the back of Tam, or did he just spin?
Oh no, he wasn't close enough to Tam to go into the back of him. What Dundee has done there, it looks like just from where his car was on track, it looks like he's got onto the exit on the exit of turn 2, and he looks like he's got caught on that curb, which sometimes when you traction on that curb, it spears you off right, and I think he's made contact with the wall, which is why he is around and out of it. But it's going to be a tricky one for Dundee. I mean, it's interesting. Tam now, pressure off, coast to the end for Tam. Make sure you don't pick up penalties, make sure you don't attack the track too much. For Pariah and Legend, this could be an unbelievable story. A double McLaren podium here. But also, Charlie, this guy crashed out in qualifying. He's been complaining about this track in the chat the entire race as Legend gets back through on him. Will Charlie go from 0 to hero in this race and get himself a podium?
I think he might, and it's going to be an amazing story if he does do that, because I think he's got better pace than Legend has. Just quickly going to tell you that Charlie has been setting last couple of laps 31 to 30 in the 31s.
Dundee, that's not the attitude.
No.
Comes into the pits and retires, and he's left the session immediately. He is raging, but at the end of the day, that's not what we like to see in TTML.
It's not. So yeah, I'm just going to say it. Legend is doing 32s, low, high 31s, and Charlie right behind him, who's a little bit further back now than he was, doing low 31s and high 31s are his lap times around this circuit for the last couple of laps now. So I think he's got the pace better than Legend has to get past and get that third position today.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, as we mentioned, the longer this race goes, the better the hard tyres are coming into it. Obviously, with Pariah doesn't appear to have the greatest of pace as Charlie picks himself up a needless 3-second time penalty there, and that is going to hurt him towards the end of this race, because there is a train down to 7th here. From 2nd to 7th, any one of these drivers could get themselves onto a podium position here. And Mad Jonas, he's going to feel like he's going to be a little bit robbed of his podium position at the moment, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get back through. But for right now, it looks like Pariah has the worst pace out of everyone here.
It does. Like, just looking at Pariah, he's not looking the greatest right now on lap time wise. He's still keeping it consistent at the 31.9, 31.8, but
the point is though, he had the gap and the time to pull away after overtaking Appleton, and he didn't really do too much. And now he's under pressure from his teammate and Charlie, and the thing is, he now leads this train that goes all the way down to Mad Jonas.
He does, but let's see what happens there. Mad Jonas is right on the back of Langfeld though. Is he going to go for the move into 130R? No, he's not. He decides to back out, but is he going to go to the triangle? Outside line though, and gets it done just before it. Very nice move there, and up into P number 6 there he goes. And you rightly say, I don't think he's got the pace as much I thought earlier than Charlie, because Charlie now has closed that gap from 9 tenths to 4 tenths. So let's see what can happen with this one.
I mean, the issue with this circuit, the closer you get to a car, especially in this first sector, the more difficult it is, because you get the dirty air effect, you get the understeer through the S's, which can be an absolute killer, as Mad Jonas is around again, and that's allowed Langfeld back through. But Mad Jonas is around. He's going to drop the spot now to Yaham. Yaham going to have to be careful, and he goes around the outside, almost makes contact there with Mad Jonas, as Langfeld picks up a 3-second time penalty. So now Charlie, as it stands, would drop a spot to Dylan only. But, you know, we're on lap 21 or 27. We have Yaham on fresh softs. Is he going to have the pace to really kind of take advantage of these time penalties coming in now from Charlie and Langfeld? That's going to be a big question. And of course, when will these hard tyres come into play? Because they are a bad race tyre, but considering how long is left of this race, they will become the better tyre in the last couple of laps, and that will be when Dylan will have the advantage. But he is doing very well to keep in this train, but you can see he just doesn't have the same grip or traction as these guys at the moment, and he's just doing enough to hold on.
He is doing enough to hold on, and that is good to see. But Legend is now right on the back of Pariah, so will this be team orders and Legend getting past Pariah? Will Pariah fight and defend for his life around this circuit? It'll be only time will tell. Just to tell everyone who is watching as well, fourth, so all the guys who have penalties, they're only 3-second time penalties at the moment, so it does affect them with the positions they will be in, but it's only 3 seconds for all of them.
I mean, I'm just saying, for Pariah, the team game would be to let Legend go, because Legend is second in the championship. As it stands right now, Legend is losing 10 points to Tam, and Pariah can half that, so that Legend only drops 5 points. Question is, will Pariah play ball with his NSR and his McLaren teammate? That is the question. As it's all gone quiet from Cadwell's end, I don't know what's going on. Has his controller disconnected? I'm not sure. But we will continue on as we're back on board with this fight for P2. And there we go, Dylan has dropped out of DRS range on these guys up ahead. Langfeld does not have DRS. Dylan does manage to snag DRS, but he's outside that 1 second window now. So, will Charlie, Legend and Pariah begin to pull away from the hard compound tyres? That's going to be... Oh, Dylan clips a curb and he's in the wall, and that's his wing gone. Dylan has touched the inside curb and has gone around. And now Charlie has got to be thinking, yes, P4 is on. Here, this man right here in Yaham is the biggest threat to Charlie getting 4th place, as he is on those soft tyres and would need to bring in that gap quite considerably. But the question is, will Yaham have the pace on him to do so? Mad Jonas recovering. Dylan unfortunately will have to make a pit stop. He may get a fastest lap point, being that it is this late and going on a set of the soft tyres. But now the battle for P2 has been cut down between these 3 drivers: Pariah, Legend and Charlie.
It has. Sorry about that. I just got a message which was important, so sorry about that. But yeah, no, it is going to be close now to see what happens here. I think Charlie's got the better pace out of the 3 of them, but the problem with Charlie is he does have that 3-second time penalty, as Legend there goes a little bit wide and puts 1 tyre on the grass there before he comes back onto circuit. There he does. So we have to wait and see what happens here, but he's closing really rapidly on his teammate here, Pariah.
I think obviously right now Charlie not only has the better pace, but he also has the better ERS as well. We know Charlie is listening, just for the simple fact that he has commented in the stream. We know he is listening, and he'll now know that information. But whether or not he has the pace to get through is pointless. He needs to battle these guys to try and force them into an error, because that's the only way he's going to get this podium here, is if one of them picks up a 3-second time penalty. Then it's game on.
It is game on, but as you rightly say, I don't think personally if he gets past a Legend or Pariah, he can gap them 3 seconds in the remaining like 3 to 4 laps.
Oh no, absolutely not. There's no way. Bless me, guys. Bless me. But yeah, so yeah, with Charlie, his best bet is not to try and overtake him and pull the 3 seconds. His best bet is to battle these guys. Try and get them to make a mistake. Maybe for them to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Make them a little bit weary, a little bit nervous. And I think Charlie right now is just going to keep the pressure on. Legend, will team orders come into play with the McLaren boys? It has to happen soon. Legend is in a championship fight. Pariah is not. Well, of course, Legend, his championship rival, is currently in the lead of this race. He is leading by 6.2, 6.3 seconds. So Tam does have the lead right now, and the only thing that could possibly take it away from Tam is Tam himself by making an error. But he's been so good so far tonight that I don't see that happening. And if I do end up commentating cursing that, Tam, I do apologise, but
or if he does what sorry, very quickly, or if he does what Dundee did and go off at the S's, and when he was rejoining, get a 10-second time penalty.
I mean, I do feel bad for Dundee because that happened. 'Cause it's a very easy error to make, and he made the error and went off. But once again, like, you know, that's parcel, you know, it's part of the track, you know, it's part of the circuit. You have to be alert, you have to be on it every single lap. There is no hesitation needed, as here goes Legend now through on Pariah. The switch has come through from the McLaren duo, and now can Charlie get himself ahead of Pariah? Will it be Pariah the one to allow Charlie to get himself a podium? Because Legend does have good pace here, so we might be able to see him pull away from his teammate. Obviously, we're on lap 26 of 27. We are on the penultimate lap. Tam has been in cruise mode for, well, ever since Dundee went off. He's been in absolute cruise mode. No one has been near him in terms of this race, and as previously said, the only one that could take this race win away from Tam is Tam himself. Legend right now is minimising the damage that Tam winning is going to do in terms of the championship. And of course, Pariah up there on the podium. He's looking at a good result here, a good team result for the McLaren duo. And I just want to quickly have a look at the constructors as well, because obviously McLaren are second in the Constructors' Championship. They are some ways off Alpine, of course, Tam and Dylan being the Alpine drivers, but they are going to gain quite a bit, and they're going to pull away from the Mercedes and Williams pairing quite considerably now at the end of this race.
They are, and here he goes, and does Charlie. Can he now, as he breaks into corner one and overtaken Pariah, he has, get past Legend and gap him 3.1 seconds. If he can do that, he's got the second position, but I doubt he can do that, and I doubt he's going to get a podium tonight because of this. But another battle that is going on. What can Mad Jonas, sorry, I'm thinking of another driver there, go past Yarum?
Well, Yaham getting a little bit close with the curve. Mad Jonas here. You see the small correction from the Red Bull as he clipped that inside curb. So he almost clips top of Dunlop curve and almost loses it as well. But we are on the final lap. Only a penalty can really help Yaham out, and I just hiccuped, guys, and I do apologise. Now I have the hiccups. What is going on with me today? I don't know. But as it currently stands, obviously we got Charlie on the back of Legend. If Legend picks up a penalty here in the Casio Triangle, that would help Charlie here, and Charlie has to go for this move to try and force a mistake. He needs to force the mistake without forcing Legend off track or anything, and obviously Tam crosses the line and takes the victory. It is going to be Legend that takes second place, and unfortunately it means that Charlie cannot get himself onto the podium, but a fantastic story to get up to fourth anyway. Pariah does take the podium. It is a McLaren double podium, an NSR 2-3. Langfeld comes home in P5, Yaham in 6th, Mad Jonas in 7th, Yogi will cross the line in P8. As we wait for GMAC to cross the line as well. He's coming home in P9. P10 for Appledorn, and what a race Appledorn there. He was a cause of quite a lot of battling in the middle part of this race. Obviously been a bit of a bottleneck as Dylan there frustratingly crashing himself into the wall. I think before the line as well, actually, so it's not good. And driver of the day goes to Charlie, and ooh, very, very interesting. And oh, I just looked at the Discord. That is heartbreaking for Charlie. I don't know if you just seen this in the Discord. Charlie could have said he could have got his warning removed, which would have removed his penalty, but he picked up a warning on the final lap, so he can't get removed. Heartbreak for Charlie.
Heartbreak. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. As you were saying a minute ago, Charlie definitely driver of the day today for me. Absolute fantastic drive from 14th all the way up to P number 4 is just a amazing story around this circuit. So yeah, and well done again to Tam for winning the race.
Yeah, exactly. Tam showing why he is the championship leader. So he takes away the victory with Legend in second place, Pereira in third. A good team result there for the McLaren. Charlie, a fantastic drive to get himself back up into fourth place there. Langfeld in fifth, Yaham in sixth, Matt Jonas in seventh, Yogi in eighth, GMAC in ninth, and Appledorn rounding up the top 10. Then we have Powdy in 11th. Dylan with the fastest lap in 12th place. Our non-finishers were Dundee and Accra, and unfortunately I think Dundee had the pace here tonight. He just made the one mistake, and then unfortunately that was it.
Yeah, it totally is. It was nothing against him tonight. He had the pace, made one little mistake, and then got that penalty because he was trying to get back onto circuit. It took a little bit too long, and yeah, if he didn't do that, I would think he would have been all right. I think to potentially at least get some very valuable points tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously they're going to be people wondering what could have been here tonight. Obviously, there were a fair few mistakes made, a lot of spins, a lot of drop points from some of the drivers, but the question is who is going to take the championship. I believe Legend has only dropped 5 points to Tam in this race, so it was a good result for Legend. He may not have had the pace to match Tam, but he minimised the points gain that Tam had gained. Next week, of course, we do go to a very different circuit in Austin, Texas, for the Circuit of the Americas for the USA Grand Prix, and that is going to be another interesting one, especially when it comes to penalties. Very easy to pick up warnings there, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am as well. Can't wait for America next week. Going to be an absolute fantastic circuit to go to. Loads of very good different corners, similar to this circuit in a way where it has like an S section, a bit different to the circuit, of course, of the S section, but great section going into like that stadium little section that they've got there, and going through the sweeping corners into the final corner and that very long back straight as well. You've got a lot of places to overtake, and it's going to be a lot of fun next week to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great fun to see what happens next week. But for this week, Formula 3 has come to an end. Massive congratulations to Tam and the McLaren pairing for getting on the podium, and Tam on the win in general. Obviously, tomorrow we are racing once again in Formula 4. At 8 p.m, which I believe is streamed on the Twitch channel, so make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. on twitch.tv. I believe it's the Masters League channel on Twitch, and of course on Sunday the big boys come out to play in Formula 1, which is also streamed on Twitch at the Masters League as well, so make sure you guys tune in there. Also, But until then, guys, I have been Ivorbryn Mike. He has been Cadwell5. And we'll see you next week for the Circuit of the Americas for round number 10. Until then, guys, good night.